All right, guys. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another Good Morning Tottenham. It's the morning after the night before. The season is well underway. One game gone now. And if Carlsberg made footballing weekends or opening games of the season after Arsenal losing to Brentford on Friday night, Spurs beating the champions yesterday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in front of an electric Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I was obviously there yesterday and it really was electric. The performance was there to match it. And I think that Nuno and the team gave everyone what they fully deserved after so long of it felt like yesterday that we got our Tottenham back in terms of the way I think we played to our DNA yesterday.
Yeah, had no fear. We didn't care who we faced. We had a go. And that's what I loved about yesterday. It was fantastic to see the energy, the aggression, the lack of fear in the opposition back at the very top of our priorities. Don't get me wrong, there was a bit of pragmatism to the performance. It wasn't gung-ho, but it was controlled attacking, and that's what I liked about it. The front three were electric throughout the 90 minutes. The midfield three worked like absolute dogs. They were absolutely brilliant throughout the whole
team
game.
Worked like dogs.
The back four was as solid as anything, solid as a brick wall. And I'm so proud of what I saw yesterday. Yeah. And hopefully that's kind of the benchmark we hit. Obviously, it's important to remember we kind of acknowledged pre-game it was a good time to face City, and we probably saw that yesterday. Although they started the game strongly, they kind of waned quite badly as the game wore on. And I think that definitely has to do with lack of preparation, pre-season training, all that kind of stuff. But you can only play the team that's put in front of you. And City, even when they're half fit, have more than enough ability to wipe the floor with you.
That City team yesterday is still a multi-million pound team. You know what I mean?
Most expensive team in Premier League history.
Well, there you go. So I think that. I was so proud of the team yesterday, so proud of the fan base yesterday as well. And I think that there's one player who I think really stole the hearts of the fans. That's Tanganga yesterday. I mean, for me, it felt like it was a coming-of-age performance from him yesterday. The way he just controlled that right-hand side, the way he dealt with Sterling, the way he dealt with a lot of the other City players in the midfield there yesterday. I thought that he was so strong, so physical. And I was just so proud of him yesterday because there was all this talk about him going on loan, potentially going to Galatasaray, and, with the other right-backs in the squad of Doherty and Aurier. That performance yesterday from Tanganga is better than anything we've seen from Aurier or Doherty in the last year or two.
Yeah, that's for sure. Especially defensively, I think that's one of the best defensive performances, not just from our right backs, but from a lot of right backs in the Premier League. I can tell you that. The amount of one-on-ones he had to contend with throughout the game, and he was just taking absolutely no prisoners. He set the tone very early on, sticking it to Grealish, sticking it to Sterling, committing a few fouls, letting him know that he ain't going to be bullied. They ain't going to find it easy today. And I think he set the tone from minute one and carried it on pretty much until he went off on the 80th minute. I thought he was absolutely sensational. The way he, from a player of his age, to deal with that many one-on-ones throughout a game, especially against such high quality players, and to deal with it so effectively without any hint that he was ever going to get beaten. I don't think he got dribbled past once. They couldn't handle him. Sterling, he was like a rash on Sterling. Sterling couldn't get away from him throughout the whole game. He just couldn't get away from him. He didn't know what to do, Sterling. Could go inside, go outside. He couldn't get away from him. And he was absolutely exceptional. I thought, to be fair, he was a bit lucky, I thought, not to get booked. He did commit a lot of fouls.
Three big fouls there he had.
Yeah, I think not necessarily. I don't think there was any one specific foul that was a booking, but I think it was...
It's accumulation,
really, it was persistent fouling. You get booked for persistent fouling. So I thought that was probably... He got lucky in the first half not to get... But I think he got 2 final warnings. I think he got quite lucky. But other than that, to be as controlled as he was throughout that whole second half, he knew one foul and he's in the book, and he didn't commit one foul. He was controlled. I think the aggression he had in the first half, he kind of had that control in the second half to kind of calm himself down, but still be as effective in defensive situations. I just got to say he was absolutely brilliant. Big props to him. I was one of the fans who would have thought, could he be our starting right back for us? And I questioned it, but now I'm looking at it and thinking, look, I still think there are question marks because there are different games give different problems. And whether, if we're in a game where he has to use the possession on the ball effectively and has to be effective in the final third to really make a difference. In those kind of games, there are still question marks. But in these kind of games, I've got no problem putting him in against the top six now. No problem.
The thing is, though, have we seen this from Japhet before? Because he came in his first game against Liverpool and he completely pocketed Mane that game. You know what I mean? And that was a top Liverpool side at full throttle. So I think that we've seen that Tanganga can come up against these players, can come up against the best. But it was all about, for me, I think it's all about him showing that consistency and getting a run of games and seeing if he can replicate it game on game on game on game on game on. So I think we have seen a performance of that high level before from him, haven't we?
I don't think as good as this, to be honest, because I think in the other games he was probably more protected than he was. I thought yesterday, like, they literally left him Moura and Højbjerg did help him out a bit, but not as much as the help he was getting in the other games, like against Liverpool, like where I felt like he was getting covered a lot more effectively. In this game, the amount of pressure on him to in those one-on-one situations to carry on not getting beat, and then not only that, getting the tackles in and then setting up counter-attacks for Lucas, who was staying quite high up the pitch throughout the game, because we had to if we're going to be effective on the counter-attack. That's kind of the risk element that kind of had to be put into this game if we were going to be really effective, because the big problem we had maybe last season under Mourinho was that because the wingers were so deep, yes, we could win the ball back, but whenever we won the ball back, we never were effective on the counter-attack, or only effective a couple of times a game, because we were usually so deep in our own half that Lucas or Son had to pick the ball up literally halfway through our own half and then set up in a counter-attack. That's why when we had counters, we would only really have 2 or 3 a game which were effective. Against City yesterday, there was 5, 6, 7 opportunities because we were so far up the pitch when we won the ball back, we could spring very, very quickly. And I think Tanganga had a lot of pressure on him because of that fact, because the attackers were so high up the pitch. So I think before, it was maybe a different dynamic. But yesterday, maybe we saw that element where the coach could maybe trust him to defend by himself and not have like his hand holded in that sense, and that could be a very effective way we can kind of counter-attack.
What's what happens when you put trust and faith in someone, you know? Dark Sun G with the super chat here saying Tanganga totally owned Grealish and Sterling, which was really impressive. He barely had Premier League experience against very experienced player. Tanganga right back for the
Future?
FTW, I don't know what that means, but
Future.
Is that what it means?
Forward.
Future.
FTW? I think he means future.
Well, yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from, that's for sure. I got a super chat here from Richard Black Dog, and he says, new to Spurs store, Tanganga shorts, comes with 2 pockets, one for Sterling and one for Grealish. And a super chat here from Rejan Bresnica, just with no comment, just the super chat. So thank you very much there.
And Ben Bailey as well. He says, great foundation to build on. Passion, grit and desire, with all players showing they want to play for the badge all game. Tanganga and Skip were class.
They were absolutely class.
And that's the standout, those 2 academy graduates coming in against such high-class opposition and doing the team not just proud, but thriving in that team. I thought Skip, talking about Skip for a minute, he did kind of, in the early exchanges, you know, Grealish was skipping past him a couple times. He was quite out of position. You're thinking, is this going to be a long day for Skip? But not only was, even when he was kind of being outclassed and stuff, even when he was being skipped past, pardon the pun, he was still giving 100%. He was still making it difficult. He was still kind of there to be dribbled past, if you understand. He was still kind of in that position to make it difficult for Man City. And then not only that, when he did grow into the game and he was starting to get tackles in and he was starting to get his foot on the ball, then he had that confidence to not get overrun, and then he advanced into the game to not only just making it difficult for Man City, for all of a sudden he was thriving in the game next to Højbjerg. And I feel like him and Højbjerg next to each other really created a solid base for us. And not only did it help, Skip having Højbjerg there, I think it helped Højbjerg having Skip there as well.
Agree.
I think Højbjerg really started to thrive big time.
I agree.
And on that right-hand side, he had a lot more license to go forward. You saw Højbjerg. He had a lot more confidence in himself to come into midfield and not just hang back all the time. And he never, not one point, did you see Højbjerg overrun? Like how many times you saw that last season?
It wasn't just the Skip and Højbjerg relationship that helped that happen. It was Dele Alli as well. Dele Alli was absolutely superb yesterday. You got to say. I mean, I've seen a lot of comments saying that's the most accomplished Dele Alli performance we've seen in midfield for a very, very, very long time. And you got to agree with that. Dele Alli was absolutely superb. It's not the exactly classic Dele Alli performance what you're used to seeing, but the way he was getting in and amongst it, putting himself about it, being physical, non-stop running the whole game. The amount of running he did yesterday.
Most of anyone on the pitch.
I think it was 11 kilometers or something like that. Like, he was absolutely on a mission yesterday, Dele Alli. And it seems as though he really is trying to knuckle down now. And that is the Dele Alli we love to see. That is the Dele Alli we absolutely love to see.
I think yesterday could be the first step in Dele Alli reinventing himself.
That's what I thought.
And that's what he needs to do. That's what he needs to do, because I don't think he can perform anymore like he used to under Mourinho or even under Poch. I don't think he can do that anymore. Just having that free role, having other people do the running for him. I think that time has been and gone for him now. He needs to be able to contribute as much as anyone on the pitch. We can't take any passengers anymore. And I think Dele's realised that. Nuno's maybe realised that with him as well. And it was interesting to hear Nuno after the game saying, look, Dele's a runner. He can be no problem. He can be a box-to-box midfielder, and we just need to utilise that as a team. It was very interesting to hear Nuno say that, and I think we saw that yesterday. Look, in terms of his on-the-ball quality, Dele didn't see as much as we're used to seeing from that. You know, we didn't see many through balls or shots on goal, things like that. But what he did do was he hassled, he harried, he nicked the ball off Gundogan and Fernandinho and Grealish, and he made it extremely, extremely difficult for Man City to play their football. And it created a platform for Son, Bergwijn and Lucas to run into space, create openings, and hurt Man City where they were hurt most, and that was in space.
Yeah.
And that was exactly what Dele allowed the team to do. He sacrificed himself for the team yesterday.
He made
Dele.
the compromise like Jose Mourinho was asking him to do for 2 years.
Well, I think Nuno's finally. Look, it's one game, but hopefully Nuno's finally getting that out of him. And it's a stark difference. You know, a year ago, opening day of last season against Everton, he's in the free role. He's in behind the striker, looking to create things. Gets taken off at half time, and what a difference this performance was from Dele.
And we've seen a lot of talking from Dele over the years, being like, oh, I need to be better, and working on things, and what he needs to do to get back to his best or get back into the team and whatever. And we saw him doing a lot of fitness work over the summer, with Kyle Walker-Peters on his Instagram. He came back to the new season. Nuno said he came back super, super fit. And we saw that on the pitch yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
Not just him, but the whole team were absolutely non-stop for minute one till right till the end. And we were growing and growing and growing right until the end of the game. We really were. We just got better and better and better. A big up, bring him home for the massive super chat saying happy with Sonny. So thank you so much for that. It really means a lot to us. And there was a couple more I need to find here from Crocodile saying, great game yesterday. My only worry is how long can this intensity be maintained? This level of effort will be hard to maintain throughout a whole season. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong, but it's all about managing it against different teams. And when you're playing against a Man City, you have to be like that for 90 minutes. You have to.
Yeah, that's the thing. Look, I think when you're playing against Man City, especially when it was a good time to play them, you have to temper your expectations a bit. I was so proud and happy from what I saw yesterday, but as we've said before, different games bring different problems, and we've seen. Look, Nuno, even at Wolves, he had a great record against Man City. It doesn't mean just because he beat Man City, he would then play, Burnley the next week and lose. You know what I mean? It's not as simple as, you can play that well against Man City, you can do that every game. So we need to make sure we're still patient with this project. And we need to make sure that as much as this is just a platform right now from what we can build on, but it's not what we should expect every game just yet, right now in our first season under Nuno. So I think as much as I'm proud and I'm delighted with what I saw, we still need to keep our feet on the ground for the time being. But what I would say is Nuno's definitely brought something to this team and to the fans as well that has been missing for a while. Yeah. And I think that togetherness that we saw yesterday, we haven't seen that in the team for sure, for at least... look, there was a time under Mourinho where it seemed like that.
Probably the first bit of last season.
Yeah, probably at least 8 months when, December, I would say, since like December last year, when we had that win against City, it was a different kind of performance.
That time, basically.
Yeah, it was a different kind of performance, but there was definitely togetherness in that game. And we defended very deep, but there was a different kind of togetherness. But now, everyone's working for each other to make sure that we don't have to defend as much as we did under those Mourinho days. Everyone's pressing a lot harder at the pitch, being more aggressive, and it's a lot easier on the eye, that's for sure.
That's the thing. I was going to mention that the last couple of times we've beaten City at the Tottenham Stadium, this one just felt so much more comfortable than any of them. I think that when you cast your mind back a year when we beat them 2-0 and Gio scored, or the one time before that when Bergwijn scored, I think that Man City had so many chances in both of those games. Chance after chance after chance, save after save, great defensive display after great defensive display. And yes, our defensive display was good, but Lloris was hardly tested yesterday. I think he made about one save throughout the whole game that I can really, like a standout save from De Bruyne in the last, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah,
that was it.
5 yards as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of deserving to win, I thought we were by far the better side in the game yesterday.
And imagine having a 1-0 lead against Man City and being comfortable. You can't envisage that. And that's exactly, for the last 5 minutes of the game, going to stoppage time, there were 4 minutes stoppage time. Usually, you expect City to be, pen us in our own half and us to be hanging on for dear life. But that's not what happened. We were playing in their half. We were pressing. We weren't afraid to press them in stoppage time. We weren't afraid to still get in their faces, still be aggressive with them. We didn't say, it's the last minute, so we all have to pen back now and be stuck in our own box. We were still brave in those last few minutes to get in their half, to get players in their half, and not be afraid to press them. And it showed in the last minute, I believe. We were penning them in their corner, in their corner. We were kind of trying to keep it, and then what happened? The worst thing happened was which they start a counter-attack. But then there's Sanchez, there's Skip, there's Dele, all going in for sliding challenges, making sure, by hook or by crook, we are stopping them from getting in our half, and we're not going to allow them to start this attack. And it absolutely worked for us, and the bravery was so refreshing to see, and
the fitness was so refreshing to see.
And the fitness, we seemed to completely outlast them, which was brilliant. I think again, pre-season we had a longer pre-season than. So that probably, and the team we played was pretty much the team we've been playing the whole of pre-season, so that definitely helped a lot with the fitness aspect. But you just got to say it was lovely to see Spurs finish the game strongly.
It was,
and the whole second half pretty much we were on top of them, which was really really refreshing, and I loved every minute of it, and it was such a great performance.
The movement from the front line yesterday was just so exquisite. Lucas was unbelievable yesterday.
What a performance!
What a performance from Lucas Moura. All the Moura sexuals out there.
Yeah, John was on the hype team.
I'm sure he was. Steven Bergwijn, I know he missed that big chance at 1-0, but I think that even Steven Bergwijn put in a really big shift for the team yesterday, non-stop running. Heung-min Son, out of the three, he was probably the worst of the three, but he still had a really good performance.
Yeah.
Everyone on that team put that compromise in for the team yesterday, and you could see it. We were growing and growing throughout that game yesterday, and I just want to see more of that. I want to see more of that. We talked about, before a ball was kicked, before pre-season was kicked, we talked about Nuno and what he can bring to a football side, and that's exactly what he can bring to a football side.
Yeah, and that's what I said before the game. I think if you see in the preview, what I said is not only is what's more important, not only is it important, us get signings or whatever, but I think what could really be the difference between us having a decent season and a great season is how Nuno can improve what we already have. That's the key, because as I said, we have a lot of quality which has been underutilized and maybe hasn't performed to their best for a while now. And we have a lot of untapped quality and untapped potential in this squad. And I thought we saw a glimpse of that yesterday, at least a glimpse of what can be. And I think Lucas, if you look at his heat map or his average position, very, very central still, even though he played on the right, which he did. You had Højbjerg covering the wide positions. You had Tanganga occasionally helping him out as well in the wide positions, which meant Lucas, when we're on the counter-attack, was very central, and that clearly is where he's his most dangerous, because he doesn't mind having bodies in front of him. He can go past bodies in his sleep. That's what he's great at. And I think a lot of the time he's being used out wide, and when he beats a man, he's at the byline, and his crossing ability has never been the best and that kind of stuff, and he gets wasted there. But when he's central, when he has the ability to make little through balls, get shots off, dribble in tight areas, that's where he comes alive. And I think we saw that time and time again yesterday, and especially on the counter-attack. Lucas Moura on a counter is deadly. You don't want to be facing Lucas Moura when there's only 3 men at the back there. You need men to try and stifle Lucas. And I thought he was a complete menace throughout the whole game. Every time he got the ball, he looks to take people on. He doesn't care if there's 2-3 people in front of him. He will take them on. He will go for it every single time, and that's what he's brilliant at.
And also those like very clever kind of touches of the ball to get the ball moving, like that. The way he kicked it to Steven Bergwijn
that
at the
was
start
brilliant.
of the goal. You know what I mean? Like, that was insane.
That was world class. Doesn't get enough attention, that little back heel pass right into Bergwijn's path.
Yeah.
If that's a bit behind him or a bit too much in front of him, that goal doesn't happen. It was perfect for Bergwijn. To do that, to hook it over your head and to get it perfectly in Bergwijn's path like that is a lot more difficult.
That's the little Brazilian flair in him, you know what I mean?
The only thing I would say is, again, with Lucas, as much as I keep banging on about it, as much as he was great and I was so happy with his performance yesterday, how many times he got into final third positions and try to pass and overhit it or something like that. Still, he needs to improve that. And
I think we should have scored more goals yesterday. That's the honest truth. The thing with
Lucas, if he had, which yesterday
Sorry guys, really sorry guys. We've got some more technical issues in the studio, but we are working on it very hard to get it back running properly for you guys. So I really do apologise for the mishaps again. Let's just get through some of these super chats. This is from Ryan Bresnica, says names pronounced Ryan, Ndombele out, Barella in. Would you take that?
Ndombele out, Barella in. If Ndombele doesn't want to be here, then yeah, I'll take that. Look, Barella's class. No, there's no knocking Barella's quality. So, as much as I love Ndombele and I think he's got world-class ability, when if you're able to get someone of the class of Barella to replace him, Like, if Ndombele really does want to be here, or he's not going to fit into Nuno's system, then yeah, I'd accept that, because Barella's also a fantastic player.
What a player he
Yeah,
is.
so I'm not going to not have someone like Barella just because I think Ndombele could potentially be world class, which I definitely could. But Barella might potentially be world class already, so we know what I mean.
Nate Hengen says Sim hates Moura.
Who says that?
Nate Hengen.
I don't hate Lucas Moura. I love Lucas Moura.
Are you a Moura-sexual?
Yeah. I just think if Lucas, if even 50% of the time, made something out of his openings that he creates for himself, even 50% of the time, he would be a world-class player. The problem is, for me, it's like 10% of the time. That's the only issue I have with him.
I can see that.
You understand? Yeah. So, like, I love him. I think the way he creates space and chances and for himself and for the team, you can't find that in the Premier League. It's really, really exceptional talent he has. He just doesn't make the most out of it. And that's why, for me, he leaves me wanting more.
Engwa with the super chat saying Japhet Tanganga the Conqueror. Well, that's exactly what he was yesterday. He definitely conquered that right-hand side of the pitch, didn't he?
Definitely.
Carl Patrick Vineyard with the super chat. Big up, Carl. And he says, COYS, what a way to start the new season with a 1-0 win against Man City. Sonny just loves scoring against them. Come on, you Spurs.
The City killer.
The City killer. I mean, the way Nuno was talking about him in the press conference yesterday was absolutely brilliant. Sonny, he's a killer.
He's a killer.
He's a killer. I love it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Sonny in a minute, but I thought he scored a good goal. I thought in the game, in the first half, he was a bit frustrating. A few times on the break, he was a bit frustrating, but you know what? He made up for it in the second half, and I think he seems to be wanting to be that talisman now, isn't he? It just seems that way, doesn't it?
And a super chat here from Mintu Lee. And Mintu Lee, I saw your call in yesterday, and that was it was a brilliant, absolutely brilliant call. Absolutely loved it. We were all watching it in the car on the way home.
Finally,
from the game
famous
yesterday.
Mintu Lee getting an appearance on the channel.
And she says, in the super chat says, it's a good day for everyone. And Lamela got a brace with Sevilla yesterday as well. And Lamela came on at half time and scored 2 goals.
Yeah, well, one deflected and one tapping.
Oh, really?
Still
I didn't see the goals.
Still Lamela. Look, still a couple of goals.
No Rabonas.
No Rabonas this time. But look, good for him. I'm very happy he's settling in quickly over in Sevilla. As we say, I wish him all the best. And I'm sure he'll have a great time there. And great for him to get off to a good start. And hopefully the fans can appreciate him as much as, well, more than maybe our fans did.
Chobby60 says, what a day, what a game, what an atmosphere. The lane was shaking. Eric, Davinson, Japhet and Pierre, all immense. Getting stuck in. City didn't know what to do. Great day, rounded off by meeting Ben and Grandpa at the end.
Oh, wow. You met him at the end?
Well, I don't know who it is, but I definitely met a lot of people yesterday, so it very well could have been. A lot of people we met yesterday. It was just, everyone was in such good spirits at the stadium yesterday, from start to finish, even before the game, you know what I mean? We got in there extra early yesterday, and we even got to spend a bit of time in the number 8 before the game yesterday as well.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it was a great day all round from start to finish, it really was.
And Dark Sunji just now with a super chat saying, how long has it been since our players fought for the badge? I love the mentality change. Come on, you Spurs, let's beat Wolves away. Nuno should beat his former club. Yeah,
it'll be a hard game next weekend. It will not be an easy game. The Wolves squad will want to get one over Nuno. Nuno's going to want to get one over his former squad.
Yeah,
and obviously carry on as he means to carry on. After that first win against Man City. Another super chat here from Jay Taylor saying, hey lads, great win. Kane's been included in the 25-man squad for the Europa game just released.
Yes.
And it's also worth noting, yes, we're saying that Ndombele has been left out of this squad, but I believe this is just the squad for the qualifiers and not for the actual competition.
Oh, correct, yeah.
So I don't think it's too much of an issue.
No, that's still an issue, do you not think?
Do you think so? Because if he's not fit to play, then he's not fit to play this week.
What? Yeah, but why?
Yeah, well, that's
why it's an issue.
Yeah.
He's not even in the squad to be in the qualifiers.
I still think Ndombele is going to play a big part this season.
It's all very strange.
It is very strange
at the moment when it comes to Ndombele. Why he's not in the squad? Aurier's not been left out of the squad yet. Sissoko is in the squad for the qualifier. It's not doesn't.
Aurier Aurier must be on his way out.
Even
like,
Kane's in the
imminently.
squad and Ndombele's not.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Like, talking about people unfit or whatever. Why is that the case? It's all very weird. What's going on with Ndombele? Nothing clear has been communicated. But I don't know. I'm worried. I'm starting to worry that Nuno and Ndombele maybe are clashing over things, and hopefully Ndombele can again. He can kind of step up to the plate like he did last season under Jose, but I don't know. Maybe Nuno. I don't know. Maybe he's holding his feet to the fire.
Maybe. We're going to have to wait and see how this one plays out, because obviously nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors, do they? And don't know. It is a bit. Look, I'm not going to lie. It is a bit worrying, but I think that you just got to trust Nuno in what he's doing.
Oh, I trust Nuno. I'm just worried that a talent like Ndombele is gonna not fulfil his potential here. I'm not worried about it. Look, Nuno, as we can see, we can play a midfield of Skip, Højbjerg and Dele and be sort of very effective against a team like City, and we've got Lo Celso to come in as well. So I believe Nuno can get more out of those players than maybe Mourinho was able to. But I just think, like, if we were able to get Ndombele on the pitch doing what Skip or Dele were doing yesterday, if he was doing that side of the game and then he had the on the ball quality as well, he could really be brilliant. And it's about just getting that out of him somehow.
Dr. Pillowcase with the super chat saying, I was flicking through the game and the chase.
The chase?
You can't be putting the chase on when Spurs beat Man City. Come on, man. Come on, Dr. Pillowcase. You know the score. And two players I want to talk about from yesterday. Everyone was worried when they saw these two players in the starting lineup in terms of Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez. And they didn't put a foot wrong the whole game, did they?
Well,
and some of the challenges that they were making. I
would say Dyer nearly did, because that first opening chance for Cancelo, that was kind of Dyer's error. His clearance.
Which one?
When Cancelo, I think in right beginning of the game, he had a really great chance. He fired it just wide. That was from a mistake from Dyer.
But to be honest, when you're at the game and the beer goggles are on, just everything looks beautiful.
But other than that, I completely agree. They were absolutely fantastic. They worked well together. They had a lot of desire. Every cross that came in the box, they were able to bat away. They were brilliant. They didn't have to be the best on the ball yesterday to do the job needed. One thing I would say is playing against Man City, yes, it's difficult, but they didn't really have a physical presence to worry about, which was probably good for them.
True.
But having no striker kind of to that was getting backing into them or anything like that. Everything was kind of played in front of them. Nothing was really played behind them as much. So I think in the end it was a great day for them. It was still difficult defending against Man City, don't get me wrong, but I think they're going to come up against different challenges, as we said. So it's not necessarily means after this game, they're different players now.
Of course.
But I think with all the rumours that Sanchez has come back with more authority and more confidence, I think definitely bore that out yesterday. That's for sure. And I think
some of the challenges he was making yesterday,
especially one right at the end on De Bruyne, that was fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely fantastic. And he's always been good at that kind of stuff, in my opinion.
True.
His defending, his one-on-one defending, I've always said is very strong, and he's always been great on the defensive side. It's but I just felt like on the ball, he had a bit more confidence than usual. Maybe still not the best quality, but a lot more confidence on the ball, I felt. And I thought him and Tanganga defended really well down that left-hand side. And I thought Dyer as well. You got to say, so many great blocks, as you said, great clearances. Man City just couldn't find a way past them, and it was fantastic. And one of the players, Reguilon, as well, who completely pocketed Mahrez. Completely pocketed Mahrez. Didn't have too many opportunities to get forward, but he did have a few.
There were a couple, yeah.
He did have a few, which was good.
But defensively, he was on point.
Yeah.
I think that's the most established defensive display from Reguilon we've seen in the Spurs shirt.
Yeah. And I thought he was so solid. Mahrez found it so difficult. He wasn't able to cut inside and get shots off or anything.
Didn't even realise Mahrez was on the pitch yesterday.
Yeah, so there you go. I thought Reguilon as well deserves a lot of credit.
I agree. A super chat here from Jack Perchard. Big up yourself, Jack. Didn't see you at the game yesterday, but I'm definitely sure you were there. He says, hope you lads are good. We should take Kane on Thursday on the bench and make him watch these lads fighting for the badge. Great game yesterday. Come on, you Spurs. What'd you make out of
that? We should take Kane and sit him on the bench. I wouldn't play Kane anyway, even if he's fully fit in this game, to be honest. I don't know. Depends which would probably make him start. That'll be more of an insult, to be honest, than probably on the bench. He's now the B team. Puts Son on the bench and put Kane in. Is like, there you go. You get the Conference League shift now.
Do you think that performance from Man City yesterday, because obviously they were lacking a focal point up front, they were lacking a presence up top.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that makes them push for Kane even more now?
Probably. I think it plays on your mind. For sure, got to play on your mind when you think they did not have that presence in the middle, right up front, in that striker, that killer. I think it's a different game if they did have that kind of player yesterday. So that has to play on their mind. I don't think it means they're going to for sure pay the money, but I think it might make them a bit more desperate to get that striker through the door. So I think it's definitely going to play on their mind, but I don't think it's going to completely swing them either way. But it has to, I think, because when you've seen United, Chelsea, Liverpool all have very convincing wins on their opening week, and you know that last season you got
and
away
Brentford.
with
Don't forget Brentford
and Brentford, of course, who were going for the title. You have to say that it might, like last season they didn't have a striker, but they kind of got away with it for a lot of the season. But can they get away with it 2 years in a row? It's going to be difficult. So I think to regenerate that team again under Pep, I think they're going to need that number 9, I think, and that has to be in their thinking. Yeah,
definitely. Brand new member, welcome to Silver to Chobby, number 60. So welcome to the We Are Tottenham family. It is great to have you. A super chat here from Rohan Parry saying, cracking game, much love from Gloucester. Come on you Spurs. And there was another one here.
Dark Sun G21. Yeah. The reason that Dion Sanchez did well, because unlike last season where only Højbjerg helped, this season we have Skip, Tanganga helping. That's also another great point. Then a lot more shielding in front of them, a lot more help when they were defending. So I completely agree with that. That was definitely another point as to they just weren't as exposed as they had been previously. So I think, the amount of times last season players were able to just bypass our midfield and get on the back four. That wasn't the case yesterday. But Dyer and Sanchez were basically sticking to their defensive duties and not having to kind of move too far away from that.
Got a few nice pings from Eric Dyer yesterday.
There was one to Tanganga early on, which was brilliant. I think Tanganga wasn't able to get it under control. And then Sanchez as well. He had a few nice long passes as well, which was nice to see. But still wasn't maybe as great as other top centre backs maybe can do. But I think you got to say they performed throughout the game admirably.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And let's just touch on the next subject just before we get some callers on. Apparently no dialogue for Harry Kane yet still with Man City going into the final last 2-3 weeks of the transfer window.
Yeah, so Ornstein has been giving updates today, and his section on this says Tuesday marks 2 weeks until the end of the window, something of which Harry Kane and Man City will only be too aware. Kane was not deemed fit enough to play for Tottenham in their 1-0 win over the champions on Sunday. He is yet to be fully integrated with the main Spurs group since returning to training on Friday, but is insistent he will make himself available, with sources saying the England captain plans to be in contention for either Thursday's trip to Portugal or Sunday's game against Wolves. There is no active dialogue currently between City and Tottenham, and the London club are not expecting to sell. That, of course, could change. Kane, who wants to leave to win silver, signed a new 6-year deal in 2018. So based on that update, does that change anything in terms of where this deal was headed for you?
I still think he's going, to be honest. I still think he's going. I think that what we were talking about before about them lacking a focal point up top, I think it was more evident yesterday. I think last season, like you said, they got away with it for the majority of the season last year, but I can't see it happening two seasons in a row, especially with everyone around them really improving a lot. Not just a little bit, a lot. And you've got like Lukaku going to Chelsea, you've got Man United who have improved massively, you've got Liverpool who've got all their players back and they're improving. You've got even to a lesser extent, I know we're not challenging them this season, but we've improved and it looks like we're improving. So you've got a lot of teams around them improving, and I think if they don't sign Harry Kane, or if they don't sign a pure number 9 and a focal point up top, they could actually drift a bit off, for the title race this season.
Well, they don't get their act together soon, I guess, because it's more important than ever to get off to a good start in the Premier League season than it ever has been. Teams now, I know Man City didn't get off to a great start last season, but they won the league with maybe not as many points as it's going to take to win the league this season.
Yeah, but the majority of teams had an off season last year. You know, the whole pandemic and all that kind
Everything,
of stuff.
and everyone had
no
slow
fans
starts.
in stadiums. It was just a weird year last year.
United had a slow start last season as well. Liverpool obviously had a strong start, but then they had a very bad middle of the season. So I think Man City I don't want to say they won it by default, but they won the league last season in a weakened competition year. And, you know, Chelsea last season had Lampard up until December before they sacked him. They were in disarray. Yeah. That's not going to be the same this year. So I think they won it with 80-something points, or 80, I don't know how many it was, but basically they're going to need a lot more points this season to win it. And they're going to need, as much as Grealish will help them get back to be stronger, they're going to need a Harry Kane-esque signing, I think, up front to really make sure they're favourites again for this title. Otherwise, they might think they could be caught behind. But I think Spurs still hold all the cards, and it's still very up in the air in the balance whether he really goes or not. Because are City going to stump up the 150 million? It's still a big question mark. Are Tottenham going to have enough time to spend that money if we get it now? It's also another question mark. Is that going to affect whether we just say a blanket no or whether we take a lesser fee? It's all a lot of moving parts and question marks. It's going to rumble on for a bit longer, I think. But do you think if he plays for Tottenham on Thursday or Sunday, what do you think that means?
It's a hard one. It's a hard one.
Could he still get his move even if he does play?
I think so. I still think he can. I think it's more likely he'll play in the Europa League than against Wolves on the weekend. I think we might see him in the Europa League, in the Conference League, and then maybe on the bench against Wolves and not coming on. I don't know. I know. It's a hard one. I think that history tells us that when a player leaves, they don't really play start of the season. I mean, Gareth Bale never played start of the season. You know, all these players, they never started, did they?
No.
They never played. So
yeah, Modric didn't know either, and he stayed.
Modric did?
Didn't.
He stayed. Yeah, that's true. That's
Sancho didn't as well last season. He stayed.
Yeah, that's also true.
It's happened a couple of times. I think it's obviously it's more likely he's going to leave given that he's not playing. That's definitely, and we know for a fact if Kane wasn't linked to City, he would have been in the squad yesterday. It doesn't matter how fit he is.
100%.
We know that. That. It's all an excuse. The way you can see the way Nuno was talking about it yesterday. He was asked, "Oh, is Kane going to be in the stadium?" He said, "Well, he worked this morning, so I don't know what he's going to do today." This is Kane, the Tottenham talisman. You don't know what he's going to do on the opening day of the season if he's going to be in the ground. Apparently he was in the ground. No, it wasn't caught on camera or anything, but apparently he was there. But for your manager to say that, I think on camera, on Sky Sports, when it's Harry Kane you're talking about, saying, "Oh, well, he worked this morning, so I don't know if he's going to be here or not." Yeah. Really? Yeah. That shows to me, he's still, kind of pushing for it. But people think, things are on one path and they can't change, he's either definitely going and that's where it's headed, or he's definitely things are just malleable. They can change very quickly in football, and just because he's still pushing for the move doesn't mean he can't stay and have a good season. And even if he's not pushing for him, doesn't mean the offer might come in and he still might go. It could go, either thing could happen. So it's still very much up in the air for me. I think the fact that it's gone this far means that neither party are that certain of what the future holds. But I don't know. It's still so difficult.
My gut's telling me he's going to leave.
Yeah. I think we'll have to see what kind of actions. But I think just like we do with Bale, I think we're too smart to not get some signings in before he leaves. So I think the action from Spurs will be very telling.
It'll be a big week. This week will be a big week.
It has to be. What are we going to do? Sell him with a week to go and then have to scramble around spending 150 million? We're not going to do that. Let's be honest. We're not going to do that. I think it's even a case where if we don't get our targets within the next week, even if they do stump up the cash, we won't sell. I think that's a possibility people aren't considering at the moment, which I think is definitely a possibility.
Do you think that if somehow he doesn't leave this summer, do you think there's any sort of way that we can convince Kane to stay beyond this year?
Well, yeah.
You think so?
Well, yeah. If we,
what would it need to take?
I think we'd have to have a serious title challenge
this season.
Yeah.
Well, that's highly unlikely.
Well, yeah, but that's what we'd have to. As in, if we're talking about not possibility, we're talking about how can we convince Kane to stay. we would have to have a serious title challenge. That's probably
if we finish top 4 and won the FA Cup?
I would say if we finish top 4 and won the FA Cup, that would, I don't know if it would,
without a title challenge, like finish 4th.
I think it might make him rethink. It might do. It depends. If it was like a top 4, but like a confident top 4, like we weren't scraping it, we like really confidently got into the top 4, then and if we look like we're going somewhere, then yeah, it might do, because I do think he wants to be at. I do think he likes being at Tottenham, and I don't think he wants to leave. I feel like he believes he has to leave.
He's forced to leave,
and we've put him in that situation. It's not that he's part in this situation. Unfortunately, that's the case. So I think if he was a part of a team who we believed was able to win trophies and able to compete for big trophies, he would happily be part of the team. I think he just believes the fact that we're in a situation where we're rebuilding again, he doesn't want to wait another 2-3 years to be part of another title challenge or to be part of another team that could potentially. He wants to do it now at 28, and that's why he's desperate to leave this summer. But if he believes that he can be part of a team that right now that can potentially challenge for big things and who's in the Champions League, then yeah, I think he would be happy to stay, I believe. But it's a lot of convincing.
A lot of convincing.
That's the thing. It's a lot of convincing.
To be honest, it's not convincing by words. It's got to be convincing by practice, by doing it on the pitch. You know what I mean? And yesterday was definitely a step in the right direction. That's for sure.
And the thing is, if he does stay, after what's happened this whole summer, I'm sure there'll be bridges to be built and everything. And I'm sure, he'll be unhappy and stuff like that. But I'm sure once he gets back on the pitch, or once he starts bagging the goals in again, and once he starts being part of the group, because look. As much as I don't know what the situation is now between him and his teammates and whatnot, but I'm sure they understand him and they respect him still, and I'm sure, seeing as he's their friends and everything, and he's been with them for so long, a lot of these people, I'm sure it'll be easy for him to reintegrate into the side. I'm sure it will.
Did you see the Hugo Lloris comments yesterday on Harry Kane?
No.
Did you not?
No. Lloris comments?
Yeah. There's some really interesting comments from Hugo Lloris. Yes, I think it was yesterday. Let me try find them again.
Was it something about togetherness?
No, it was before the game. It was before. He was talking about Harry Kane. Let me see if I can find them.
Lloris on Harry Kane.
By the time, but I'm going to look for them. But run us through what you thought of the chants yesterday at the stadium.
Yeah, well. I wasn't at the stadium, right? So I don't know if they were kind of more banter in a sense of like singing to Harry Kane, like this is what you're leaving kind of thing, like this like we're creating something and this is what you're leaving, or was it kind of a more mean-spirited kind of chant? Where
I don't think it was mean-spirited.
You don't think it was mean-spirited? You thought it was more banterous?
Yeah. Everyone was, because everyone was just in high spirits. You know what I mean? No one was there maliciously. No one was angry. Everyone was just in high spirits, laughing and joking, and it was kind of more of a banter thing, in my opinion. Yes, there was an air of being like, all right, this is our talisman, and he's our man, and he's leaving us. Yes, of course, but I don't think there was any malice in the chants.
Okay, so do you reckon if being there at the stadium, obviously it's hard to say. Do you think if he was on the bench and his name is read out or anything, how do you think he would have been received? But I know it's hard to say, but what's your prediction? Having felt the atmosphere yesterday.
Yeah. If he was starting, I think he would have been cheered. I mean, that's the only way his name was going to be called out if he was in the team.
From the bench.
Yeah, I don't. It's difficult. It's difficult. I think maybe he would have been. Don't think it would have been like an intense boo, like a proper like cauldron of like a hate. But I think he might have been jeered, if you know what I mean. Like just a level, just a bit above boo.
Right.
I don't think like there's hate for him, but I think there's people want to sway his decision, don't they?
I guess. Yeah. Do you reckon Kane, hearing those chants, how do you think he would have felt hearing them? Do you think he would have been bothered by it, or do you think would he laugh about it, or do you think he would have been like, "Oh shit, are they turning on me"?
No, I don't think that. I don't think that. I think I don't know. It's hard to say in the mind of Kane, but Kane's a pure professional, isn't he? I think that. I don't think he would have taken any notice of it, to be honest.
Yeah, hopefully Kane realises that if he was to stay, and as soon as he gets that first goal, let's be honest, everything's going to be forgotten pretty much. As much as people say, oh, he's disrespected the club, which, look, I don't disagree with and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but let's be honest. As soon as he starts banging goals again, no one's going to care.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
I hope so.
I think that's the truth. What, if he gets 25 goals, people are going to say, well, he missed training a year ago.
No, of course not. But it also, like, in the back of your mind, you know that at the end of this year, you could be losing him again.
But we've had that for. I mean, it's only become a proper possibility this summer, but there's always been.
But for sure, for the whole season, the whole fan base will get 100% behind it. Yeah,
that's
of
what
course.
I'm saying. I think everyone's gonna not saying forget or anything, but I'm just saying I think it will go to the back of people's minds. That kind of stuff.
So the Hugo Lloris comments was this. There was more to it, but I can't find the rest of them. So
is this part of what this one on the Guardian?
No, it's from the Daily Mail.
It says, if the manager needs Harry, he'll be professional. Is that one?
Yeah, that one. But the comment I got here is, there is a situation in the air. We cannot hide that, but it belongs to him and the club. If the manager needs them, he'll be professional. Friday is only the first day he trained. As a player, as a teammate, I have no words to say. It belongs to the club and the Harry to find a solution.
It says here, Harry is a professional and he is here with a smile. It says, there is a situation in the air, as you said. I'm focused on the team, and if the manager needs him, he'll be professional. Then it goes, he says a couple of phrases keep recurring. Lloris's job as a captain and senior player, he says, is to try and make everyone going in the same direction as a team. The player's primary goal must be to make sure everyone at the club is going in the same direction. We just try to make our best to make sure we all are ready to the start of the season and that we're all on the same page. Though none of these remarks specifically refer Kane, they could certainly be read as veiled comments about the striker and his apparent desire to depart. The priority is the team, the start of the season, the rest we try to separate. The most important for me, as the captain and as a player, is to see my teammates going in the same direction together, but we are in a period that a lot of things can happen. It's also the message from the manager. He just wants the players focused on the training sessions and focused on the competition, and then we will see what will happen. As a player, a teammate, I have no words to say. It belongs to the club and to Harry to find a solution. So that's fairly interesting stuff. Obviously, pretty much confirming that there's some tension between the club and Harry Kane at the moment. Which is probably no secret, but does it? Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to hear that from the club captain talking about that kind of stuff. Do you reckon? What he says, if the manager needs him, he'll be professional, but it's all about the club, everyone pulling in the same direction. Do you reckon he's kind of telling the club they should let him go?
I don't know about they should let him go, but they're saying that. I think he's saying that if one person is not on side, then what's the point? Like, everyone needs to be pulling in the same direction. If one player obviously wants out, so maybe it is saying that they should let him go if needs be.
Interesting.
And I think the same way as well, to be honest. I don't think there's any point in holding Harry Kane against his will. Obviously, we need the right price for him. But I've kind of felt like I'm not even bothered if he goes or if he stays anymore, because if he goes, it means he wants to go, and if he stays, it means he wants to stay. So
yeah, but it's just not. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as that. Otherwise, City. Then all of a sudden, if you're saying if the position is now, we should get him out because he's not. If the position is we should sell him because we want only players who want to be here, then you have to accept that we might have to send him for a lower fee. Otherwise, that can't be the position.
I still think you need to get the fee for him, and you got to hold out for it. And Man City, they can afford it.
The position isn't to sell to get.
That's my personal position. I mean, I wouldn't sell him. It's a difficult one. I think you can kind of meet halfway in between the two.
So what's the price?
150.
But then there's no meeting, huh?
Plus a player.
150 plus a player. I'm saying
that's what Romano was saying.
If your position is we sell him because he doesn't want to be here, and there's no point keeping a player who doesn't want to be here, then I think
I still think there's a right price for it, though.
There's a right price, but I think you have to be if Man City aren't prepared to go to 150, then that's you keeping a player who doesn't want to be here. But your position is we shouldn't keep a player who doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, but you still can't do bargain basement sales. You know what I mean? You need to still get the right price for him. You just got to be open to selling him.
Yeah, I understand that, but if Man City aren't prepared to go to 150, then you're keeping a player who isn't going to be here, and that's not what you want.
Yeah, I know, but I think that there's a line. There's a line, and I think that you have to do what's best for both parties, right? And Harry Kane, he's probably one of the most valuable footballers in the world right now, so you're not going to be selling him at a cut price. You just can't do that. And yes, he wants to go, and we're open to selling him. But Man City got to stump up and show Harry Kane that they're willing to stump up the cash that he deserves and what we deserve.
What do you believe is best for the team?
I think we got to be open to selling him, but I don't think that we can take a cut price, especially this season.
So are you saying we should sacrifice what's best for the team for the sake of 20 million?
For the sake of 20 million? It depends. I was saying 150 plus a player. That's a bit more than 20 million.
You think 150 plus a player? That's not going to happen.
It should be.
No,
that's what it should be.
No, that's never going to happen.
But either way, would I sacrifice the good of the team for 20 million? Would it be the... It's a difficult one. It's a very difficult one.
See, I think that... I don't think that... if Kane... I'm not that bothered that if Kane wants to leave, because I think if he stays, will still be to the benefit of us, I think. I still think it will. And yes, he might want to go because he's not pulling in the same direction, but you don't think he'll want to make the best out of it when he stays. You think he's going to want to not try and challenge as much as he can while being here. And do you not think that as much as he'll be frustrated he hasn't got his move, he'll have to knuckle down and get back to his best? Otherwise, he definitely won't get his move next year.
It's just a cloud over the club. It's just a cloud over the club.
It won't be. Once he gets a few goals, it won't be.
And then it reappears again at the end of next season, doesn't it?
That's irrelevant. It depends how well we do. It depends how well we do, whether it will reappear or not.
But most likely it will. Like the way we're saying, the only way it doesn't reappear is if we either have a title challenge or win a trophy and look like we can potentially have a title challenge next year.
Yeah.
I think that's a big ask this season.
All right, but then hopefully we'll be in a better position than we are now to use that money more effectively. That's what you'd hope for. Mate, look, even if like we sign him now, even if we keep him and then there's an agreement with Man City that he goes after a year. If he stays and puts in his all and gets us the goals we need him to get and puts us in a better position next year to even if we get the money, I think that's fine. I honestly think that's fine. I don't think we'll keep Kane and it'll be a situation where it's toxic. I really don't believe that. Whatever happens in a year happens in a year. We'll have to wait and see. But I think right now, if Kane stays at Spurs, I still think that'll be to the benefit of the team. Like
I said, the way this saga's playing out, the way this saga just doesn't stop, and it hasn't stopped for years and years. But this is the real summer where it's actually been, all right, Kane wants to leave. But we've heard transfer rumours about Kane for many years
only
now.
Because probably people have wanted Kane for years, but he's never wanted to leave. But now, because we've not been Champions League for 2 years, he wants to go. Yeah,
which is fully understandable. And I don't begrudge Kane for wanting to move, because any top player in his situation will want to move him to a big club to win trophies. That's fine. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying right now, for me personally, I couldn't care less if Harry Kane stayed or went. I really couldn't. And that's my personal opinion.
All right, so why not take a lower fee then if you don't care?
Because I want the money.
Well, what's 130 million then?
What do you mean, what's 130 million? I want 150, in excess of 150 million. That's what I want.
You want in excess of 150 million?
The more money we get in, the more money we can spend on regenerating the squad.
Okay, but it sounds like to me you prefer he stays, because that's not going to happen. We're not going to get in excess of 150.
I told you, I don't care either way. I want the case to be closed already. Either he stays or he goes. I just can't deal with these rumours anymore. I can't deal with these Man City talk every single day. Oh, is Harry Kane going? It's Harry Kane staying. Oh, he hasn't turned up for training. Oh, he hasn't. He's not going to be part of the team.
But this is what you've asked for by demanding 150 million.
This is not what I've asked for. I've asked for the case to be closed.
Then take a lower fee. That's my point.
I don't want to take a lower fee.
Then you have to barter. That's the whole. That's what
We're
I'm
dealing
saying.
with a country here. We're not even dealing with a football club. This is Man City.
Yeah,
They can
but they don't
easily
have-
stump up the cash.
So what?
So they should pay it. If
That's-
they want a
yeah,
top
but
quality player, they need to pay
what
full
they
whack.
want to pay. That's not. We can't
They
force
paid
them
100 million for Grealish. What? They're not going to pay 150 million for
We
Kane?
can't force them to pay.
No, we can't.
So what? So this is how.
So then
it's
he's
gonna play
staying.
out.
Then so he's staying. Like, I don't care either way. I'm happy for him to stay.
But
and
I'm saying,
happy for him
unless
to
you
go.
take a lower fee, this is going to go right down to the wire, which is not what you want.
I think that it can go down to the wire without it being out in the open. You know what I mean? Like, because I think, like I've said many times, that we need to get the targets in first before we
Correct.
sell him. So I think that, you know, easily something could be going on behind closed doors that we don't know about. So
Okay.
we'll have to just wait and see how it plays out. But I just want this case closed, to be honest. But I know
won't be.
for a fact that it's not going to be closed
It
the
won't be.
last game of the day of the
Unless
window.
you take a lower fee, it won't be.
But I know it won't. I know.
All right, let's read these super chats. Matt Hayes, did you read that one?
No.
Says, I hate that we have never gotten a solid strike partner for Son. So many dusty players signed and sold, like Janssen, Soldado, Kane, etc. Very funny, Matt. Very funny. To be fair, apparently, I was reading stats of Son as a central striker. In 55 starts, he's played as a central striker for Tottenham. You know how many goals and assists he's had?
How many?
49.
49.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
49 goals and assists in 55 starts. Impressive.
Not bad at all.
Impressive. For a sub, for a strike, for a player, you know, who's not relied on as a striker. It's not bad. That's why I think the club might justify playing him up front, like as a replacement for Kane. That's why. I wouldn't be
but
surprised.
Look at Bruno, for God's sake. His stats match up to Harry Kane's in terms of goals and assists.
True. It's all the penalties. Won't get as many this season. Although,
did
fair
score a
enough,
hat-trick
did score a
without a
hat trick, didn't he? Great hat trick, to be fair. Carl Patrick Vineyard, just to let you know that Man City haven't scored in N17 since September 2015, and it was the 26th of September in 2015. We battered City 4-1 that year. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? They haven't scored in Tottenham since 2015.
Yeah, it's mad.
Long time.
Absolutely mental.
6 years. 6 years since they last scored
We got
in Tottenham.
Pep's number in N17, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it was Pellegrini who was the manager last time they scored.
J-Boy X says, what is your opinion on Laporte being included in the Kane deal? Personally think he's a great player, and being left-footed is something we need. I mean, it looks as though we could be getting Milenkovic, but if we don't get Milenkovic, putting Laporte into that deal would be absolutely brilliant. Be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Like I've said it all along, haven't I? So
True. I'll definitely. But it looks like Milenkovic is. We're going to step up the chase for him. It seems. But if we get another one,
we're not going to.
Are we going to be so desperate to get rid of Sanchez and Dyer now, or one of them?
Oh, don't start that now.
I'm asking. After
Don't
yesterday,
start
are
that
we
now.
going to?
Yes, I am still desperate.
You might be. I'm saying, will the club be?
Oh, no, I said as soon as the game finished yesterday, I turned around to the person next to me and I said that, all right, this gives Levy an excuse now not to buy another centre-back.
What did I say? So I've said it. So I have a feeling we're not going to get rid of either of them, and we're going to keep them. I said that all along.
But that game yesterday gives them an excuse.
Big excuse, yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
true.
But it can't be the case. That can't be the case. We need to learn from our mistakes.
Hopefully, I would
not
hope
repeat them.
I would hope it gives an excuse for someone to stump up the cash for him. But I've got a feeling it gives Levy an excuse to keep hold of them. And then Jensen Greenshield says, lads, would you rather finish third and around 10 points off top with no trophies, or scrape sixth, win the FA Cup and the Conference League?
Sorry, what's the?
Would you rather finish third or finish sixth, or third and no trophies, or sixth in FA Cup and Conference League?
Third and no trophies, or sixth in FA Cup and Conference League? Third and no trophies.
I think
back in the Champions League.
I think it would be better the development of the club to get third and no trophies.
First and foremost, look, and people that make the decision to finish third with no trophies doesn't mean that you don't want trophies at the football club. I just think for the future of this football club, it's more important to be in the Champions League than winning an FA Cup.
How many players we lost just this window for not being in Champions League? So many.
A lot.
So many have already rejected us.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it is better for the club if we're in Champions League. You know, no one's joining Tottenham because we won the Conference League or because we won the FA Cup. That's just the sad reality of the modern game. You've got to accept that. As much as I love would absolutely die for a trophy, I think Champions League is better for the club.
I agree. Ben Bailey with the super chat saying more value overall to the squad. Harry Kane or 150 to 160 million pounds?
It's just hypothetical. It depends what you spend the money on. It's not so simple as what's more valuable. Because if you spend it on players who flop, then it's Kane. But if you don't, then potentially you could spend it on 2 or 3 positions, and it's the money. So it's hard to say without knowing what the money's being spent on. Like, it's all hypothetical right now.
With Don Paratici at the wheel?
Then it could be the money. It could be the money. Honestly. If, I don't know. I just got a feeling that, one sec, what's this? Tottenham are strongly interested in Vlahovic. Spurs are ready to present an offer close to the one they made for Martinez.
Oh, I saw that last night.
What? We're making a 60 million. If we're making that amount of money offer for Vlahovic, then Kane has got to be going.
I can't see Kane staying. I just can't see it. Kiri Evangelou says, reminiscent of the 4-1 in 2015 against City, when we got a sense of Poch high-intensity press for the first time. And yeah, I kind of see that, to be honest.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I think in that game, I think we might have been a bit more dominant than we were in yesterday's game. But I understand what you're saying. Look, and we've got to remember it's Nuno's first game, so it's not exactly like this has been a process or anything. It's like straight in there with the effective pressing. So it's impressive for him to do that after one game.
Like Nuno's
you got to remember that
yesterday.
Poch game he's talking about. That was over a year. That was about 13, 14 months into his tenure, and that's how long it took Poch to get us playing like that.
But also, you got to say that the squad was a lot, like we had a lot more talent in the squad when Nuno took over than when Poch took over.
And you got to remember as well, the team that are playing now, a lot of them played under Poch, so a lot of them know how to do it effectively in a system, not necessarily coming in cold like they were under Poch.
Exactly.
So they're going to get up to speed a bit quicker than they were then as well, which is true.
Exactly. Shall we start bringing on some guests? Who have we got in the back end? Eden Cooper, come on, son. Let's have you.
What's going on, Eden?
Yes,
Good to see you,
Eden.
mate.
How's it going, mate?
All good, all good. How you doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
all
come
good.
on, man.
Absolutely
Better than
brilliant, especially being in that stadium last night was really special. What most impressed you from the game yesterday?
Yeah, it was just great. You know, even like before the game started, looking at the stadium packed, it was just brilliant. And obviously, like we had to play a football game, so it was brilliant to see that team performance. I was so delighted. Like the first 15 minutes, I was kind of scared we could get battered because City were really on top of us. But I think we showed the right mentality and we just kept calm, and we found the right the right path to hurt them on that right hand side where they had Mendy, who's not the best defender. And I think with Tanganga and Lucas on the same flank, they were brilliant. And I was so happy with Tanganga's performance, especially because I really think he's going to be a big part of this season. I saw the fans giving him a nice chance. It was just brilliant. And Lucas, I think for the whole 90 minutes, he was just superb.
Yeah.
And I saw, like, in the last few minutes, he was still dribbling past Fernandinho like he wasn't there, getting fouls. It was brilliant to see Grealish get annoyed with him because he had a better game than him, and it was pretty nice to get one over him.
Do you think, you know, after the past, not just even year, just past few months we've had as fans with this club, with the Super League, Kane saga, you know, the whole sacking Mourinho 6 days for a cup final, dropping into Conference League, all this kind of stuff that, you know, Spurs fans have had to put up with over the past few months. Do you think that was kind of like a performance to say, we do care about the club, we do want this club to do well, and having those, you know, youth products yesterday in the heart of that was central to what happened yesterday?
Yeah, I obviously don't want to get too much carried away, but yeah, throughout that 90 minutes, it was brilliant. I felt so proud. I haven't felt proud of the team, I'd say, in a really long time, because yes, under Mourinho we've had that good spell for a couple of months, but we always felt like we were getting lucky with it. And maybe we didn't deserve the 3 points. But yesterday, apart from the first 50 minutes, we were the better side. So it was just so great to have that kind of performance. Like, I'm not going to get carried away because last season we were first in December, and we all know how it ended. But just to get that 90 minutes performance against the champions, even if they didn't have De Bruyne from the first minute, it was still a brilliant team. So yeah, I felt really proud to be a Tottenham fan again. It was such a good feeling, even to have the fans back. It was just brilliant.
In terms of the defence yesterday, Eden, Davinson and Dyer putting in really strong displays at the back. Obviously, Tanganga and Reguilon putting in brilliant displays at the fullback positions. I mean, does that give Levy an excuse now not to buy a centre-back upgrade or even a right-back upgrade?
Yeah, knowing him, it might. We still have a few games before the end of the transfer market, so I hope he listens to Paratici and CH, but forget him. So yeah, I mean, if you have to base the season on this performance, we're going to end top with maximum points, but we know that's not going to happen. So I think we have to be realistic.
I was banking on it.
I think we have to be realistic, and obviously, like, the point of Sanchez and Dyer is when we get angry with them, it's because we know we base their performances on good performances they've had in the past, and when they have stinkers, that's why we get pissed off. So, look, I'm going to congratulate them for the 90 minutes of yesterday, but they just can't keep it for the whole season. I'm not saying they're bad players; they can have a good game here and there. That's why we need squad rotation. So if we get another centre back in, like a top centre back alongside Romero, they're going to have their game time because it's going to be a long season, and they can easily play a good chunk of the season. But I don't trust them for the whole season. So I hope we get another centre back in. And look, if we get Tomiyasu, who can play both centre back and right back, I think we might just survive, because with Tanganga there at right back, who can also start at centre back, I think we have a few players who are quite versatile. So honestly, it wouldn't be the worst scenario if we just got Tomiyasu, but obviously I would like another centre back plus Tomiyasu. But if we get just him who can do both roles, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, honestly.
What did you make of the Kane chant yesterday in the stadium? What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, actually, I was singing that song before it got sang by the fans. Like, when we scored, I was singing it by myself, and then you lot started doing it. But it was funny. And yeah, I think, look, I agree with Ben. I don't think it was done with any bad intention. It was just having a laugh, and hopefully him listening to it. What do I think about the whole Kane situation? Still, my idea has been the same since day one. If they give us the money we want, which is apparently 150 million, I'm not happy to let him go, but I'll let him go without any problems. But we have to remember that the transfer market is getting to an end soon. So if we don't get this money soon, or don't know we're getting it with 100%, sorry, that was my mum getting it.
It's all right.
Yeah, if
Hello,
we don't
Mrs.
have
Cooper.
if we're not sure we're getting it, what was it? So my idea has been since day one that if we don't get the money, we shouldn't let him go. So if he's not showing up,
should there be a deadline on this, Eden? Because we have to have time to spend the money, don't we? If we can't, there's no point getting the money on deadline day when we've no time to spend it.
And
so
that's my fear. That's my biggest fear. Because if Man City give us 150 million on the last hour of the transfer market, we know Daniel Levy. He's probably not going to say no. Even if we're not going to be able to spend it, he's just going to get
I think they're smarter than that.
I hope so.
I think they're smarter than that. We've seen it before. Like, these deals, they're not going to sell Harry Kane without getting in some signings to spend that money with. They're just not. And surely, if they're going to sell Harry Kane and buy the targets before that, everything's going to be hush-hush until the deals are done.
I also think that's Man City's plan in a way, like, to give us the money the late as possible, because they know if they gave us 150 million, let's say in mid-July, we would have a whole transfer market to get who we want, and they would probably fear us in a way, because I mean, I know we're Spurs and whatever, but to give 150 million pounds to a Premier League side who we can beat them because we've shown, they probably would start fearing us. So maybe it's in.
We don't even need 150 million to beat them.
Exactly.
So maybe it's in their plans to give us the money as late as possible. We just don't know. And honestly, for once, it was so nice not to think about Harry Kane and just enjoy the team performance. And it's not the first time we've beat City without Kane. So it wasn't that much of a surprise, actually.
All right, Eden, always a pleasure having you on, my friend, and we'll
My
speak to you
pleasure,
next
boys.
time.
Nice one,
Speak
Eden.
to you soon, okay?
See you in a
Up
bit.
the Spurs, come
Bye-bye.
on.
Come
Come
on.
on, Spurs.
See you. Come
you
on.
Spurs.
Absolutely brilliant call from Eden, as always. Have we got anyone else waiting?
Yeah, there was a few people, no? Yeah. Who's this?
Scorpions,
Scorpions
fan
for life.
Come on.
What's up, my friend? How you doing?
Hey guys, how you going?
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
doing
good,
alright.
thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I've been following the show for a long time, leaving the occasional super chats.
Yeah, I've
and stuff.
noticed. We've noticed. Thank you very
I
much.
thought I'd join and have a chat.
Glad to have you on. What did you watch the game yesterday? I'm assuming.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to the game. I wanted to go, but the COVID restrictions and stuff. I hadn't had my second jab yet. I got it next week, so I wasn't able to go. But
You could have had a test to go. You could have a test.
I didn't know, but
You didn't know.
I think you could pay for it and stuff, can't you? But I'll go in the future. Look forward to getting back in the stadium. It looked amazing there. The crowd,
Yeah.
It was.
flags were out. It looked fantastic. I had a couple of mates there. They said the atmosphere was brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, how do you think yesterday's performance would have affected our potential transfer plans going into the last couple of weeks of the window? Do you think it would have changed maybe thinking of the hierarchy at all?
I have faith in Pararici coming in. I think that's the best signing in this transfer season. Forget the players, bringing him in, having Levy take a step back. It's the best thing for this club. Let's talk a bit about the Kane saga. I think the way Nuno is playing in pre-season in this game, I think we're already preparing for life without Kane. The way we're playing the high press, I'm not sure if Kane would fit that system, and I think we're playing well without him. And I think the game just proves to City that they need him, and they need to pay the 150 or whatever that we're asking.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But the 2 weeks to go till the window closes, we have to kind of get our signings in before we get the money from Kane. Otherwise, we're not going to have enough time to spend it. So, is there a deadline you put on it? What do you see it? Is this going to be a massive week for Tottenham this week if we're going to get a lot of signings in?
Honestly, as Ben mentioned before, I think we're already working behind the scenes. We have got a lot of links with strikers. Martinez, Vlahovic. I think we're already in talks with them guys, and we're already putting money on the table and saying, or contracts and saying, do you want to come to the club? I think we're going to sell Kane, and we're going to bring in one of those two, or maybe both. I'm not sure on both, but imagine Martinez, Son, and Lucas up top playing that press in game. What Nuno wants to do, he would fit that system perfectly. He's got a lot of pace, hasn't he? And he's got a killer finish, so it could work in our favour.
But if City not hold us to ransom, but City say we're sticking at 130 and we're not going any higher, do you think we keep Kane?
I think Levy is going to hold out for what he wants, and I think City are going to pay the money. I really do.
But I'm saying, what if City are just as stubborn as Spurs? What do we do then?
It could go down to the wire. I really think it could go down to the wire, but I think they are going to pay the money. I mean, they've paid 100 million for Grealish. I mean, I think Grealish scored 6 goals and made 12 assists. And now we're talking about Kane, who got well beyond 20 goals and top assists as well. I mean, you're telling me he's not worth 150 million?
I'm just asking, what if City refuse to pay that 150? What do Spurs do? Do they accept the lower fee, or do they keep Kane for another year?
I think it will go down to the wire. And if the last offer, we might take it. If they, let's say, deadline day, they offer 135, 130, we might take it.
We might take it. You think we'd take the money? Fair enough. Interesting.
I don't think we should, though. I don't think we should. I think with Harry Kane, look at Man City, they stump up cash for everyone. Year on, year out, they're stumping up cash for players. And then suddenly, when it comes to Harry Kane, they want to skimp out on a player, when Harry Kane's probably the best player they're going to bring into the club in the last however long, 10 years or something. So if they want a player of Harry Kane's calibre, they got to stump up the cash.
I agree.
Don't you think it's more of a gamble for City to try and go another season without Kane?
Yeah,
rather
100%.
than just pay the money.
100%. 100%. Because I think with Man City, if they don't bring in Harry Kane, they're going to lack something massively this season. They really are. There's no one else that they can bring in that's going to be, unless they go for Vlahovic or someone like that. There's no one that they can bring in that that can supplement what they're missing by not bringing in Harry
If they
Kane.
go for Martinez, that wouldn't be a bad deal.
Martinez, yeah. I don't know why they're only looking at Harry Kane and no one else.
Because they're just convinced by Kane.
Yeah, they need that strong centre forward. I don't think Martinez is what they need. I think he's similar to what Jesus is, maybe a lot better, but he's a similar player. He's that pacey forward who will get cut between the lines. But
you know, he was similar to Aguero, though. Aguero did very well for them over the years.
Definitely true.
But but did he play a lot under Pep? He did a bit.
Aguero?
To the end. Yeah, I think he was nearer to the end.
I think majority of the time he did. When he had injury problems, he kind of was in and out of the team. But when he was fit, he pretty much started all the time. Aguero. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for calling in, my friend. Nice to see you. Appreciate the call.
Problems.
And hopefully we'll see you soon. More, because that was a good call. I enjoyed that.
Thanks for coming on, mate. We'll see you soon. Big up yourself.
Take care.
Up the
Cheers.
Spurs.
Cheers.
Come
Come
on,
mate.
Come you Spurs.
Come on.
Come on, you Spurs.
All right,
Nice.
let's
Getting all the
keep
callers
going with Will Payton. Yes, Will. How's it going, mate? I'm loving the Klinsmann shirt.
What's going on,
Yeah,
boys?
look at that. Repping.
What's going on,
Love
boys?
it.
All
my
good.
friend.
How
You
are
all
you?
Oh, I'm good, boys. Good.
Yeah.
Were you at the game yesterday?
Nah, well, I live in Australia, so.
Oh, Australia.
I was trying to
There
get the
you
accent.
go.
I was like, is that an English accent?
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
wasn't
not,
too
yeah.
sure
Yeah,
where it was
speaking
from.
I'm from Sydney.
So
What
what
time
time
is
is
it?
it?
Yeah, what time is it over there now?
So it's 9 p.m. now, but watching the
That's not
games
too
is
bad.
like. Watching the games last night was 1:30 a.m., so that's not too bad. But
1:30
sometimes,
a.m.
you know.
So were you
5
trying to
a.m.,
keep the
4
noise
a.m.
down, not don't wake any of the neighbours when
Yeah,
the Sun
yeah,
scores?
yeah. When Sun scored, I was just silent.
Brilliant. What do you think taking from yesterday's performance? You know, with players like Tanganga and Skip playing such good games in positions that we're looking to potentially recruit going to the end of the window. What do you think it could help potentially affect our transfer plans? That game, or do you think it won't affect it at all?
Yeah, well, Levy's sort of like. I definitely think Levy will be an excuse for him to not, get plays at the door. I don't think he'll get Dyer or Sanchez out the door this window, which won't, not very good. But yeah, with like you'd want to bring in Tomiyasu and you'd want to bring in, hopefully Vlahovic if Kane goes. But I feel like the squad, you need to compete with the squad depth of all the other. If we want to go top six, the likes of Leicester, you have to be having Dyer and Sanchez can stay to play. They need to be playing the cup games, they need to be playing that sort of stuff, and then just have Romero and whoever else we bring in for the Premier League, really. So I don't think it's a terrible idea, but I think it's the best we can do. So.
Will, the Europa Conference League squad has been announced today, and Ndombele is not on the list. What's your reaction to that?
If it means he's going to be focusing on Premier League, then that'd be great. But I don't think it is. But Ndombele is probably one of my top 2 favorite players at Spurs, and it really sucks to not see him play at all. It really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think
the guy's talent is absolutely second to none, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely second to none. You won't find someone with as much talent as this guy. And but the facts of the matter is, Will, if you don't marry up that with mentality and good application, you're not a top player, though, are you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's just midway through last season, he was just he was just exciting to watch, and in such a boring, defensive team. Every time we'd get in the ball, you'd get excited because he'd always do something with it, always. But yeah, it sucks.
Do you think, watching yesterday's game against Man City, how hard Skip, Højbjerg and Dele worked for the team? Do you reckon Ndombele has that in him? Or do you reckon that's what Nuno's gripe is at the moment?
Yeah, well, maybe because, Dele Alli, he didn't have the best game, but his aggression was so just good. And every, especially in the last 10 minutes, every player, Doherty made a really good tackle at the end, Sanchez, and you just getting into it. But I don't think, I've seen Tanguy has a bit of aggression in him, but I don't think he cares about the club as much as a Dele Alli or a Skip, these academy players.
Yeah, and they obviously played so well yesterday, Tanganga and Skip. And talking about Jaffet Tanganga, there was obviously talks of him going on loan to Galatasaray and whatnot. And obviously there's talks of us signing a right back over the before the end of the window. Is he now for you our number one right back? And do you reckon he's going to be a big option for us now in going into the season?
Yeah, definitely. If he keeps playing like that was one of the best games I've ever seen. Also, going into the game, I was really regular. Everyone's talking about Skip, Tanganga, Lucas, but Reguilon was. I thought he was that was one of his best games in the Spurs shirt. Because going into the game, 100%. I was thinking Mahrez against Reguilon, and Reguilon's he's defensively not as good as I reckon Mahrez would just absolutely destroy him. But he made some really good interceptions and really good going forward. Defensively, he didn't pocket Mahrez or anything, but he. Pretty good.
Yes, he did pocket Mahrez. Come on.
Yeah.
Say it how it is, Will.
He was good. He had a really good performance.
And another player who's come under a lot of criticism from the Spurs fan base, especially over the course of last season, was Steven Bergwijn. How do you think he linked up with the other attacking players, and what did you make out of his performance yesterday?
Yeah, I think if you take away that miss, it was a really good performance. He was definitely contended for man of the match. It's just everyone's focusing on the miss, and you're sort of thinking, you have to score that sort of thing. But there's again, with most of our players, there's a really good play in there. I definitely think Nuno's the right man to bring it out of him. But yeah, definitely can see him getting a lot better.
And Will, what do you do with a problem like Harry Kane? What's your stance on the situation?
It's at this point, I just want him to go as quickly as possible. I love him, but it's just obvious he's either going to go this season or next season. It's probably not. We're probably not going to keep him, and it's annoying every day just seeing rumors and everyone just bantering us about him. But it's just look, if he obviously wants to go, we'll get a good price for him. If I'm sure Levy won't, and Man City have the money. They definitely have the money. Ben was saying, even on if it comes down to the wire, Man City can definitely pay, they paid 100 mil for Grealish. They can definitely pay 150 for Harry Kane. He's not gonna I think Levy would definitely get the fair price for him, and yeah, sort of just want him, love him, but hope he leaves to stop all the bad press, I guess.
Would you take a lesser fee to get him out the door?
No, no less than 130, because if he let's say he doesn't go and he gives it 100% again and then goes next season, that's fine. But if he's just kicking up a fuss, which I don't think he is, but if he keeps doing that and maybe not playing as well, then I think getting him out the door would be good, just to because Nuno's obviously working towards life without Harry Kane, and I think our squad is going towards a point, and Harry Kane doesn't really fit into where we're heading.
Wow.
But
strong words there, Will. Strong words.
Interesting.
Thanks a lot for coming on, my friend, and hopefully we'll get to see you soon.
Yeah, call again soon, my friend.
Course.
Nice to speak to you.
Cheers, boys.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
We've got a super chat here from Dark Sun G21 saying the Conference League lineup is out and Kane is included, while Aurier and Tanguy is excluded. All our new signings are included as well. But yeah, we've been speaking about that quite a few times so far in this show.
Brian Churnit in the chat.
Brian Churnit, is he?
It says long ball strategy to the right was a great strategy. And I think he's absolutely right. I think we did play a few long high passes to the right-hand side of the pitch where Mendy and Aki were. And it definitely worked well for us a lot of the time.
Definitely agree. And we've got Min Tu Lee in the back end, ready to come on. Min Tu Lee, I missed you on the show yesterday, but I was watching. Welcome back to the channel, and it's great to finally put a face to the name and all the comments and stuff. So welcome. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, no, I was looking this morning. I just want to come in to say a couple of things about the Kane situations, really.
Okay.
Back then there. I do want the thing to finish as well, whether he stay, whether he go, it doesn't really matter at this point, given that Sonny did a pretty good job up front. But I do want the price to be right for the club and for the player, Like I don't think I'll take anything less than 150 really,
Yeah.
because maybe our reasons are different. But for me, it's a matter of principles. It's like it I don't want it to become a pattern where when player wants to force out, they tire the club out, and then eventually we let them go. Like I don't think it's a good pattern. So if Kane is kicking a fuss or not, that doesn't matter. If he doesn't want to stay, then there has to be someone to pump up the price for it, for the price that we invested in him as well. And also that is like if he stay and he doesn't want to play, that's fine. You can be sidelined for a while until you want to play or until somebody pay for you to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of spot on, and that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it as well.
Yeah, but we can't. The fact of the matter is, we're negotiating with another club, Man City.
Correct.
We can't force them to stump up the cash when we want them to stump up the cash. They're going to stump. It's either going to go down to the wire, where we're not going to know what happens till late on, or we have to accept a bit of a less fee to get him
I
out
know,
the
but-
door to get our targets.
I know that, but like, this is the only time where you will hear me say that we should not treat players, employees. You should treat them like an asset, because Harry Kane is a big asset, and it's not the point where he's losing his value or anything yet. It hasn't been 29 yet. He's still 28, so it's there has to be like the right price tag for like that big of an asset.
So, but are you prepared to keep Harry Kane for another season if he doesn't? If City don't stump up at least 150?
I feel like they will, but if they don't, I don't think that would be too big of a problem.
It's okay, but what if it means maybe we don't get other targets that we're going for because we're waiting for the Kane money?
Are we getting the target that we gonna get? Like, are we getting Martinez?
No,
That's
not unless
then-
Kane
then-
leaves.
But if Kane leaves, do we actually gonna get him? Given that Lukaku,
I reckon-
has now been-
It's a
I
tough
think there's
one.
more chance for Vlahovic than Martinez.
That's for sure.
What then is a bit considerable, really. Like they're I would still prefer Harry Kane if he is the professional that he has been saying that he is. Then if he stay, he will give.
Yeah, I just think it's a waste to let him go for cheaper when we know we can get proper whack from him, especially a team like Man City where we know they've got the money to spend on him as well. So I don't see the point of taking a lower fee for him. I really don't.
It's a bargaining game. Like they have all the money that they want. Like if you look at their airlines, like their economy class is better than every other airlines in the world. Like they have that kind of money to put in like every single small stuff. Like they have the money for everything. Like it's the country that we're dealing with. It's not a company.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely
I
true.
completely agree.
All right.
Mintu Lee, absolute pleasure having you on as always. So thank you so much for calling in, and we'll speak to you next time.
All right. Have a good day, guys.
You too.
Like
See you
London
later.
buses, you get them in Chile once, and the next, and then there's another one comes along shortly after. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Great to see him in Chile again.
Big up Mintu Lee, and now let's get Dan Scholes on. Dan, how you doing, mate?
Oh, is he there? Dan?
Dan?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can hear you now. How you doing?
Technically, just a second. Yeah, good. Thanks, guys. Been a good weekend. How about you lot?
Yeah, really good. I mean, were you there yesterday?
Wasn't at the game. Did have plans until the last minute, and they got cancelled. So I ended up watching it at home, but still got to enjoy all of it.
In terms of the chants yesterday about Harry Kane, what did you make out of them when you first heard them?
So my stance, pretty much since he refused to come to training, is that honestly, I wouldn't say I've completely turned on him, but I'm not a fan of him anymore. I think he's kind of shown his true colours, and I think more he let us down because there's other players that have tried to get their way out of the club and so on, but Kane told us he was a fan. And the fan doesn't do what he's done, disrespects the club. So I thought the chants were well deserved. And to be fair, I thought the purpose of the chants when I heard it wasn't so much, getting at Harry Kane, but more like, do you see this? Do you see the club that you're trying to leave? We can potentially do something under Nuno. You've disrespected this manager who's gone out and put his performance in. It's a club that you want to join. So I think it was well deserved, and honestly, it was quite funny just listening to it.
Wait, but what's your current stance then on what we should do with Kane? With 2 weeks left of the window, City have yet to stump up the 150 million Spurs are looking for. If he's that, obviously, Spurs are willing to sell him and Kane wants to leave. But what's the balancing act? Do we, if Man City don't bid the 150, do we take a lower fee to get him out the door? Or do you risk keeping a player who's potentially unhappy? Or do you think maybe if he does stay, it wouldn't be a problem?
I think pay up or buzz off, really. It seems that from all reports, our stance has been clear throughout the window that A, we don't really want to sell him, but B, if you want to buy him, you got to pay 150 mil plus. They bid 100 mil, which was absolutely laughable and completely disrespectful towards us, I thought. And now their supposed big push of him is 120? You're still massively lowballing us, and I'm like, there's no reason why we should accept a lesser fee for a world-class striker, because at the end of the day, we know that if he stays, he's going to play. Otherwise, he risks losing his England spot. And we know that he wants to break records and all that, and he can't do that if he's not playing. So I think we stand firm. If they pay over 150, I think if they pay 150, yeah, let him go. They bid that much, but if they don't pay, I don't think we should set a precedent and just say, if you want to go, even if you've got 3 years left in the contract, I mean, you can, I guess. I just think we've got to be firm on it. We can't set a precedent for this, and more so from a stance of a club that's got the backing that City have. They've got the money. If they really wanted him, they will pay up. So see if they do. If they don't, then we keep
Put up or shut up, Dan, isn't it?
Essentially, yeah. I don't see why we should be bullied by Kane and his camp or City into accepting a bid for 30 mil less than we value him. I personally think that's ridiculous. I don't see the reason to.
But is there a deadline on this deal? Because can we really afford to be this going down to deadline day and then it goes through and then we're scrambling around for 24 hours to sign, to spend that money? Surely there has to be a deadline on this deal.
If it was up to me, I think the deadline's already passed. The start of the season, the deadline's passed. But in terms of the club and so on, I potentially see if City bids and maybe it doesn't hit the papers or anything, then maybe we get more targets in than we would, and then leave it to later so that other clubs don't know that we've got a big wad of cash in our pocket. But the deadline, if we're just in terms of making a deal and it being public and everything, it should be end of this week. Give us time to get in some targets, but I still don't see it happening. I just don't think they've given any indication that they're willing to go as high as we'd think about.
So you think at the end of the window, Kane's going to end up staying? Is that your opinion?
I do. Like I said, I'm not as certain as I used to be because of the whole not showing up to training and everything. But I thought if that was going to initiate a move, it'd be done already. I thought when he didn't turn up to training, like I said, part of my head was surely Kane's camp has heard that they're getting up this bumper bid that we're going to be forced to accept and all that, but they haven't. They've let it drag on, and I just don't see it happening unless they massively stump up within the next week. Pretty much, I just see him staying, and he's gonna play. Like I said, he wants to break the records and everything. So he stays, gets 1 more year, and then next year, next year is gonna be more of a auction for him. I think with other clubs like United will need a striker, maybe clubs abroad if he's reconsidered.
But Dan, I mean, let's talk about a game a bit more now, because I'm sick and tired of the death of talking about this Harry Kane saga, how it will and how it won't pan out. But in terms of the game yesterday, I mean, how much this is the first competitive game we're playing under Nuno. How much did he impress you yesterday?
He really impressed me. I won't lie. When he came in, I'm embarrassed about it. I tweeted no to Nuno and all that. I did not.
Oh, did you? Oh, you're one of them.
I was really angry. I was in a point of really anger with the club, and I was like, "Sod this." I've since apologised on Twitter, but yeah, I was really against him coming in because I think I was limited. I looked at his last season with Wolves and all that, but yeah, I've turned around and I've had to eat my words on him because he has impressed me so far. We'll see how it goes for the long run. But yesterday, I thought it was tremendous. Really, I don't think anyone expected us to get a result, even draw. I've said to a few people, we beat Pep under Mourinho. We got the win. However, this wasn't just about the win, it was how we won. Like the other games, I always thought there was some degree of us being lucky or so on. This game, I thought we completely deserved it, and we were by far the better team.
I completely agree. And a few individual performances I want to talk about. Japhet Tanganga. Let's talk about the whole back four, actually, because obviously it's a position where we're looking to improve on from now until the end of the transfer window. Does any performances in that back four give Levy excuses now to not buy these players?
I still think it will massively be up to Paratici. I think it's up to his views on it, because it seems like he has got Levy's ear, and if he wants to play out the door, I think he'll want them out the door. I think the way Levy works in relation, because he's the one with the purse strings and so on, and maybe setting the values. I think we'll still probably be looking for a right back, and I still think we'll still be looking for a centre back. I do still think that. However, I think maybe with outgoings it could change it. So Tanganga, I think, is definitely not going on loan anymore, and maybe Sanchez stays now. I still don't think after one performance you should let him stay, because he has put in good performance before and followed it up with stinkers. But it may change the opinion on Sanchez. Like I said, Tanganga I think will definitely stay, but I think either way we'll probably be looking for another right back.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens from now to the end of the window in terms of how this game would have affected what we possibly think in the transfer window. But also looking at the forward line, Lucas, Dele, Bergwijn and Son up front. Obviously formed a really great front four and very effective counter-attacking system. Are you still thinking we need another player in there before the end of the window in those attacking frontline areas?
I still think we're going to get a striker. I think we're going to get all
regardless of Kane.
Yeah, I think regardless of Kane, we're getting a striker. A lot of reports have been, there was reports we wanted to play one up front with him. There's reports that we want one anyway because he needs to replace Vinicius. I think we will get a striker, and it's looking like the reports, especially recent reports, that it might be Vlahovic.
Are we wait, Dan. Are we really going to spend 60 million euros on a striker without selling Kane? Is that realistic?
I think we will. We haven't spent much money this window. Remember, the Romero was a loan to buy. We have got money. I think it depends maybe partly on other outgoings. But all the reports have been that we are still going for a striker like Vlahovic. So I do potentially see it happening. I think we, especially considering, we had a bid agreed of that nature for Martinez. And that was a point where Kane was not going. So we clearly have the money regardless of Kane going. So I do think that Vlahovic will happen. I just think then it does reduce the price in other areas. Like Milenkovic, I think he's something around like 15 mil, so it's less.
Yeah.
But I do think we have the money spent. I do think we'll get Vlahovic in by the end of the window and have Kane.
Does it worry you that we're not really being linked with any right backs at the moment?
There's something in which makes me think the Tomiyasu deal might still happen, and it's just kind of dragging on a little bit. It might go to the end of the window. I guess we'll see. It's maybe concerned we're not really linked with any other right backs. I know we're linked with this Nandez now. I won't lie, I don't really know much about him. I saw the tweets from Fabrizio and other reports coming out about Nandez.
Yeah, it doesn't fill me with much confidence after looking into him yesterday.
From what I've heard of him, I saw a few people tweeting about him, and there was a Uruguayan fan, I think, tweeted about him and said that one thing about Nandez, he's not the best technical kind of player, but he always puts in 100%, and he's very strong for effort and such. So
we're basically getting Moussa Sissoko from 3 years ago.
Well, he said that, look, I'm just going off a Uruguayan fan, but he said he rated him above players like Lo Celso. So
Lo Celso?
Yeah, he did. I can't. I'll have to find the tweet again, but he basically said that he thinks he's better than Lo Celso anyway. And this guy can cover like right back, right mid, centre mid. I think he'd be a wing back as well. So maybe he's the player we get in the utility, and maybe kind of a right back if we've got Tanganga and Doherty there. I'm not really too sure, but I do still think there's going to be like 3 or 4 incomings, but maybe a couple of outgoings as well.
Okay, interesting.
In terms of the front four you're talking about, the way I watched it, I think it was a 3 in the middle. I don't think that Dele was playing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right.
No, it was a 4-3-3 yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was quite impressed with. That we had it was very tactical in the terms of we had the front men staying further up so that we could easier launch a counter-attack, and that Dele and Skip and Højbjerg as well were both putting in the effort in the middle of the field, tackling, being aggressive, and then Skip was allowing Højbjerg to play a lot more like he did in the Euros, playing further up and picking out passes. And I just thought it was so smart from a tactical perspective. And under Mourinho in these games, we'd have the forwards sitting further back, kind of everyone behind the ball. Whereas with the defensive structure that we had, it allowed those players to be further up, to initiate faster counterattacks and hit them really hard in a transition, which we were doing throughout the game.
Yeah.
All right.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Dan,
right.
Great analysis as always, and thank you so much for calling in, and we'll see you next time, my friend.
Have a good day. See you in a bit.
And
nice
you too,
one.
mate.
See you, Dan.
Is there anyone else waiting in the back end?
Super chat here from Aaron G says, "Hi lads, hope you're well. Buzzing after yesterday. Been tuning in for you over a year now. Love the channel. Keep up the good work, boys."
Big up Aaron G.
And welcome to Silver to Aiden France.
Come on.
Welcome.
Come on, Aiden. Welcome to the family. And we've got Anik in the back end.
Let's get Anik on.
Long time no speak, Anik. How are you?
I'm doing good. What about you guys?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Very good, thank you. I mean, I can see you've got a big smile on your face. Is that because of the result yesterday? Still smiling?
Definitely. I was really looking for this. I mean, I was busy moving places and all this stuff, and I have been hearing the whole Kane rumor and all this stuff, and then I was not very skeptical about Nuno. I mean, I was not against him, but I didn't know what he can do. But after seeing yesterday, I feel good.
I can see it. I could definitely see it in your face. In terms of the way we played yesterday, in terms of the personnel that played yesterday, who really impressed you yesterday?
I mean, I was most impressed with Lucas Moura as a player, how he has been evolving from the end of last season. And if he puts this all consistent performance throughout, I think he would have a regular spot in our squad and he can even do better. And also, I was really, I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said someone to Greenwood that he has become a man, but I would say Jaffa Tanganga has become a man. He has played so brilliantly yesterday. I was very much impressed.
Yeah, I was agree. I mean, I said last night that it was a coming-of-age performance from Japhet Tanganga yesterday, and it really felt like something had changed with Japhet and the way he put himself about yesterday on the pitch. You know, Sterling had nothing yesterday. Jack Grealish pretty much had nothing yesterday. So he was absolutely sensational. But about another player coming through the academy, and Ollie Skip, what did you think of his performance yesterday?
I mean, he was good, but honestly, I think if I were in the management of Tottenham, or even if I were Nuno, I would again send him to a loan, maybe to Norwich again, because he would get the Premier League experience there, and then bring him back next year, because I still think he might struggle a little bit once we go deep into this season, because he's just too young.
You think so? Do you think he acquitted himself well yesterday?
Definitely, he played very well, but I think it's not just about one game. We have to play 38 games. And
you don't think he can play his part? You don't think he can play his part in the season?
Yeah, he should. I mean, if it is a part season, then I agree. He should play. But yeah, again, one more point is Højbjerg is so experienced. And he's such a leadership... he's a player with such a good leadership quality. And it's a good place that Skip can groom himself alongside Højbjerg. With that perspective, yeah. But yeah, I mean... if he can play 16 or 17 games for Tottenham, or if I can give him 38 games for Norwich, I would always send him to Norwich. And plus, in Norwich, the challenges will be more because he will not be playing with such a strong squad. So he will always have to adapt and play against the best. So in that perspective, I would say the grooming will be more for Skip.
Interesting.
And another player who's come under a lot of criticism over the past 2-3 years is Dele Alli. We saw him in a very different role yesterday than he does usually play, really like high up the pitch, right, tugged up right next to the striker. But he was in a very deep role, putting a lot of work for the team and compromised a lot for the team that, you know, Jose Mourinho was calling on him to do over the past year. Sum up his performance for me.
I mean, personally, I am very angry with Dele Alli. Not with that yesterday's game. He played brilliantly well. But my point is what he could have achieved and what he could have done. Because I love Dele Alli as a player. And I expect so much from him. But the thing is, for the last 2-3 seasons, he has not evolved himself. He was just floating free behind the strikers, running free into the open channels and just waiting for the ball to arrive to himself. He was not making an effort for the team. Yeah, the transformation in his physicality, the shape he has got into, he came fit for the first game of the season. Even the workouts or the hard work he has been putting on, if he keeps himself like this in the long run and he doesn't lose the motivation or he doesn't shut off during the games, then I would say, yeah, Dele Alli, you have been brilliant. But I'll still hold my judgment for him. I will not give him any marks for this one game.
And after that performance yesterday, do you think that we can? What can we achieve this season?
I mean, realistically, if we play like this and we are not like last season, we went to top, then we came crashing down. And honestly, I mean, my only problem with this team is the defense. I don't trust them because, as we all know, that Eric Dyer, Toby Sanchez, they had their brilliant games last year with Jose Mourinho in the Manchester City. But all it takes one moment for them to switch off, and it's a disaster. If we sort, I don't know if when Romero comes in, and I don't know who will he partner against, but yeah, if we get our defenses sorted right, I'm quite confident that we could have a top four finish for sure.
Interesting. All right, well, let's hope you're right, Anik, and thank you so much for calling in once again, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you a lot throughout the season.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Love it, Anik.
And I think we've got one last call of the day, and that is the Jorical. Let's
Who
bring
else?
Jory on. Jory, how's it going, my friend?
Oh, is he muted?
I think you might be on mute.
Hello.
Oh,
There you are. There you are.
We
Yeah,
can hear
we
you.
can hear you now. But how was that? How was that for you, Jory, yesterday? What a win that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was lovely. I actually, I didn't see most of the last half. I'm actually here in Milan.
Oh, you're in Milan, are you?
Ah,
Yeah, I'm working, and I'm working for Tottenham as well. I have
are you?
have a meeting with one of the greatest footballers ever tomorrow. So I'm
Who's that?
planning on
Any name
talking
drops?
to,
Any name drops?
I'm not allowed to say, guys, but you can maybe put two and two together. So I'll tell you afterwards once the
What?
job's done.
Paolo Maldini?
So,
No, Spurs play, he said.
Oh, Spurs player, you're saying.
no. My hope is that I can convince him to come play for Spurs in a charitable sense. You know, he does a lot of charity, so maybe.
Okay. Well, we'll just have to.
We need some charity sometimes, right?
Definitely.
But we
Definitely.
didn't
Okay,
need
brilliant.
charity yesterday, though, did we?
For sure not. For sure not. And it was absolutely amazing. Just seeing how it started. I mean, to be honest, I was not completely surprised, and I was just super happy to see that Nuno is he's all about progressing this team now, you know, and you know, the fact that we didn't have Harry anywhere near the squad is like, for me, that's the final confirmation. Really, he's going, and I also think that what we saw yesterday is also like not. I would never want to say that Harry has been holding us back or whatever, but we have been building a team around Harry, especially under Mourinho. Like that was the whole thing under Mourinho, and in that sense, a player like Lucas was out on the fringes, you know, until like he had a small period there where Mourinho did a fix once again and put Lucas in a 10 position really, and that was really nice. But I think a lot of players are gonna become even better now without Harry, to be honest, you know. So and that's not a knock on Harry. I mean, of course, Harry is our best player, and I mean, I don't expect even Son to put up the numbers that Harry has been putting up. But we're a team, you know. So, you know, like I said with Messi and Barcelona and stuff, you know, at some point being a goal-oriented team becomes a detriment. You know, it becomes, you know, you become less than the sum of your parts. You know, because one player can't do it all, and if it means that other players are not maybe getting utilized to the fullest, you know, you should look at it. And just in general, I think we all understand the time is now. You know, this is the time for him to move on. It's the time for us to move on. And we saw yesterday, it's not going to be a problem. It's going to be exciting. Of course, we're going to lose games. Of course, Dyer and Sanchez, if they're going to be around, they're going to make their mistakes and all of that. You know, we'll have all of that. But at least now we're working towards something new. You know, at least now we're trying to put up a new frame. We're trying to find a new role or put Son in this new role. Like almost my biggest criticism yesterday was almost like the wasted chances from Sonny. You know, and like he had too much time to think and stuff, and I like almost felt like it's been drilled so much into him to look for Kane this season with Mourinho, that it was almost like, oh, where's Kane? Oh, no, it's just me. Oh, I have to shoot. It was almost one of those, So I think Nuno will fix that for sure. And Sonny will just become that two-touch killer, like somebody on your channel mentioned that he was taking a lot of touches and stuff like that, and has been lately compared to vintage Sonny, which is like the two touches and just off to the races, he'll just sprint down any defense, and that's what we want to see. I want to see this sprinting attack, like the speed of Bergwijn, Lucas, and Sonny together. It's insane. It's world class, so let's just work on that and be happy, and get some money in for a new defense.
Yeah, we're talking about the defence, with how well they performed yesterday, and with Tanganga as well, especially at right back. Do you reckon, how was that going to the Levy's thinking going to the last 2 weeks of the window? Does he change any of his mind on selling or bringing people in?
No, so I actually think, like I've thought for a long time, that it's been pretty settled with Kane, and let's just say it wasn't. I thought yesterday's settled it for everybody. It settled it for Levy. Levy saw that he's going to be able to sell Kane without getting murdered by the fans, and Kane saw that, oh, I'm maybe not the whole club. The club is bigger than me, and Pep saw that he needs a striker. If they had a proper striker, if they had Kane there yesterday, we would have lost by quite a few goals there. So I definitely think everybody that's in that drama saw that this move needs to go ahead now. But I think, especially with Tanganga, was such a revelation, man. He was amazing, really, and for me, I think what Nuno might be able to do for all the team, but maybe especially the defense, is maybe just make it simplify the task. Make it so that it's not too confusing. I think Mourinho was too tactically advanced for our defense. I think they had to keep too many systems and rules in their head and try to, so they got confused and there came gaps. And yesterday I saw they were coming down the Tanganga side all the time, like Sterling and Grealish, and I saw how they just beautifully triangle covered that area constantly, and they never got confused about it, which I thought was amazing, because that's usually, that was what I was most worried about, was actually if Grealish and Sterling would try and get in behind and something like that, and they just covered that beautifully. So so I think it's definitely I mean, everything I see from Nuno, I'm getting more and more excited about it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's top four on this year, Jory?
I mean, if we sell Kane and we put the money in the right places, yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a stretch for sure, but I don't think it's impossible at all. And I like the pace of our, both the pace of our front three and the speed of our transition as well. It's gonna stretch any team in the world, let alone the Premier League. It's gonna make trouble for any team in the world. And I kind of think, you guys can maybe chime in on this, but I think we kind of forgot that Spurs is supposed to be a speedy team. That was not a good thing to go along with, really. We should have known better, because we have so much speedy strength. We're not Real Madrid. We don't have endless budgets or whatever, but we have a lot of players that can outrun anybody, and we should definitely be playing to that. So so I'm very optimistic, but to be honest, as long as we finish the upper half of the league, and I keep seeing progression, and I keep seeing Nuno doing good work with our players, then I'll be happy. I've kind of settled into the idea of this needs to be kind of the season where we transition into the new team. So, but I can't even see like us performing quite well this season. So.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I hope we're both right. So let's stay positive and let's keep going into the season as we did yesterday. And I think only good things can come if that's the case. So Jory, absolutely pleasure to speak to you as always, and we'll speak soon.
Likewise, guys. I ran into Dejan Kulusevich from
Kululevsky.
Yeah, and now I'm gonna go out and look for Martinez, see if I can find him in the street.
See him, he's wandering around.
Yeah, you have a word with him. Tell him we're waiting for him.
Tell him to stop going to training.
And go to Florence as well. Go to Florence. See if you can find Milenkovic and Vlahovic as well.
All right, I'll try and do that. I'll let you guys know.
I'll give Paratici your number. I think he needs a guy in Italy right now, doesn't he, doing his dirty work?
Yeah, you got my Twitter. You can send him my Twitter as well. So.
All right, just in case you need someone out there in Milan. All right, nice one.
Nice one, Jory.
Jory, good to see you, my friend.
Cheers,
see you in a bit.
Bye-bye. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, Spurs.
Come on.
And just before we end the stream, talking of Fabio Paratici.
Mm-hmm.
That clip of him yesterday was absolutely amazing. I know you played it on the fan show yesterday.
Brilliant.
That's when I first saw it.
Passione.
The passion he showed yesterday.
Fully COYS now. He's fully COYS.
He's fully COYS.
I do love it. Jumping up and down, literally like a manager on the touchline. It's amazing. It's so funny.
He's brilliant. And he's shouting at all the players as well.
As if he's like in training all the time. He knows the tactics. Yeah, I love it. And then Hitchin, he's given Hitchin a new lease of life. Love it.
They're definitely rubbing off on each other.
Yeah, I think so.
That's for sure. But look, that is your Good Morning Tottenham for today. Another mammoth stream for you guys. Thank you everyone for watching today. Thank you for everyone for the super chats and for the call-ins as well. We'll see you again. We've got player ratings and the 5 takeaways coming your way today, and we'll see you again for another episode of Good Morning Tottenham tomorrow morning. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.